Bob Ross, Jimmy Savile, and the New York Stock Exchange are all on this day. Hey, welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is October 29th, 2020. It is the 303rd day of the year. We only got 63 days left until 2021. Today's the 44th Thursday of 2020, and it is the 38th day of fall. There's only 53 days left until winter. Today is National Cat Day. National Cat Day seeks to raise awareness about thousands of cats that need to be rescued. Now, we just had Black Cat Day the other day. Apparently, black cats get their own day. And this is just for all cats. In the US, there's approximately 3.4 million cats that enter animal rescue shelters every single year. Of these, 1.4 million are euthanized. National Cat Day was created by pet activist Colleen Page in 2005. All right, let's see what else October 29th has given us. 1901, in Amherst, Massachusetts, nurse Jane Toppin is arrested for murdering the Davis family of Boston with an overdose of morphine. Toppin, whatever, is often considered an angel of death. That's a type of serial killer who takes on the role of a caretaker and attacks the vulnerable and dependent. Toppin moved in with the elderly Alden Davis and his family to take care of him after the death of his wife, Maddie, who she also murdered. She poisoned Alden, his sister Edna, and two of his daughters, Minnie and Geneva. Once caught, she was found to be guilty by reason of insanity and committed to an insane asylum for the rest of her life. You know, it's so weird. You think that would be a random one-off thing, but there's been several people that have done this over the decades. It's weird. 1929, the New York Stock Exchange crashes in what will be called the Crash of 29, or Black Tuesday, ending a great bull market of the 1920s, and, this kind of starts the Great Depression. On October 28th, Black Monday, more investors facing margin calls decided to get out of the market, and the slide continued with record losses in the Dow for the day. At the day, this was big losses, but it was 38.33 points. That was major at the time. These days, that's nothing. The next day, the panic selling reached its peak, with some stocks having no buyers at any price. Nobody was buying anything. This would make the Dow lose another 30 points. Again, doesn't sound like much, but at the time, it was big. I mean, it crashed the whole country pretty much. 1960, in Louisville, Kentucky, Cassius Clay wins his first professional fight. If you don't know who Cassius Clay is, he later changed his name to Muhammad Ali. He is widely regarded as one of the most significant and celebrated figures of the 20th century and as one of the greatest boxers of all time. 1964, a collection of irreplaceable gems, including Star of India, is stolen by a group of thieves from the American Museum of Natural History in New York City. The thieves climbed through a window and discovered that the display case alarms weren't functioning. The stolen jewels were reported as being worth just $400,000 in 1964. That's big money, but the museum and most people figured the actual losses are incalculable. These were one-of-a-kind gems that were missing, and so yeah. 2 days later, after being tipped off by staff members at the Cambridge House Hotel, 3 men were arrested. Three men were arrested 2 days later after being tipped off by the staff members at the Cambridge House Hotel, where the 3 men had been staying and throwing lavish parties. After being detained, the men posted bail and escaped to Florida. They were eventually caught. 1991, the American Galileo spacecraft makes its closest approach to 951 Gaspra, which is a giant asteroid on the asteroid belt. Anyway, it's on its way to Jupiter, becoming the first probe to visit an asteroid. The asteroid is about the size of Guam. 57 images were returned to Earth, the closest taken from a distance of 53,000 miles. 1998, Hurricane Mitch, the second deadliest Atlantic hurricane in history, makes landfall in Honduras. Mitch caused the worst floods of the 20th century in the country. An estimated 70 to 80% of the transportation network was destroyed, including most bridges and secondary roads, amounting to about $2.36 million in damages. 2018, the Lion Air Flight 610 of a Boeing 737 crashes after taking off from Jakarta, Indonesia, killing 189 people on board. Now, if you want to read something interesting, go back and read about the Boeing 737 MAX. I'm going to broad brush it because this is a short video, but basically, this airplane was they were playing catch up with Airbus after something Airbus had done, this great plane they had, and Boeing made some mistakes on this. But anyway, 2 planes, this Lion Air one, and then in March of 2019, an Ethiopian airliner, Boeing 737, both crashed in similar circumstances. Basically, the plane's computer thought that they were doing something else when they were climbing and set the plane to a dive. And basically they crashed into the ground, and no matter what the pilots and engineers on board tried to do, they tried to override the automated system, everything, nothing worked. Just crashed these people. The plane thought it was about to stall, so kept trying to dive on these poor pilots. They had no control. Anyway, it's a long, detailed thing. If you want to read something interesting, just look up Lion Air Flight 610 or the Boeing 737 MAX. Good read. Movies released on October 29th, 1999, Being John Malkovich. Totally weird movie, but I would recommend watching it. It's really strange and it's hard to explain. 2004, Ray is released. This was the life story of Ray Charles. Jamie Foxx played Ray Charles, and, I knew nothing about him. I knew Ray Charles' music prior to this movie, but I knew nothing about the man, and he led an interesting life. It was a great movie. Jamie Foxx played a great role. Born on October 29th, 1942, Bob Ross, American painter and television host. He was the creator and host of The Joys of Painting. Ross was noted for his giant permed hair, which he ultimately disliked but kept it after it was integrated into the company's logo. It became like his trademark. He passed away in 1995 at the age of 52. And it's a really interesting story that he had become friends with this woman who she was fairly wealthy, and her husband, and from a painting class of all things, which he taught. And she inherited his company and all his stuff when he passed away in 1995. And she held on to all his paintings for the longest time. I know the Smithsonian contacted her to get some of the paintings, but she just warehoused them for the longest time, and people begged her to sell them for years or put them in museums. He's a pop culture figure. And a big one these days, more and more all the time. 1971, Winona Ryder is born. American actress, producer. She gained attention with her performance in Tim Burton's Beetlejuice. She also appeared in Edward Scissorhands, Stranger Things, and Frankenweenie. She has received several awards, including a Golden Globe, and has been nominated for 2 Academy Awards. She also got picked up for shoplifting back in the early 2000s, late 90s, which was weird. She's got plenty of money. Died on October 29th. Now here's someone that, most of us would be happy died. Jimmy Savile, English radio and television host. He hosted the BBC show Top of the Pops and Jimmy'll Fix It. He raised an estimated £40 million for charities during his lifetime. After his death, hundreds of allegations of sexual abuse were made against him, leading the police to conclude that Savile had been a predatory sex offender, possibly one of the most prolific in British history. He died at the age of 84 following a bout of pneumonia, which he had just been released from the hospital for. Yeah, he was a weirdo and a pervert. I watched the thing on him. It was kind of sick. All right, that's today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Give the video a big thumbs up. Everybody go out and be successful. Be nice to each other.